Ivan VI, also known as Ioann Antonovich, was born on August 23, 1740, to Duke Anthony Ulrich of Brunswick and the Grand Duchess Anna Leopoldovna of Russia. Anna was the daughter of Duke Karl Leopold of Mecklenburg and his third wife, Katerina Ivanovna, who was a daughter of Ivan V. Shortly after his birth, the baby boy Ivan was appointed heir to the Russian throne by his great-aunt, Empress Anna Ivanovna. The Empress followed the will of Peter I, who had stipulated shortly before his death that a reigning Tsar could appoint his or her successors him or herself. This new rule of succession to the throne caused great consternation with the House of Romanov, as the Tsars were now appointed and no longer determined by birthright, which led to great intrigue at court, as every prince and princess was now a potential successor, and many members of the House of Romanov held out hope of succeeding to the throne. On October 28, 1740, Anna of Russia died. After her death, the 2-month-old Ivan was proclaimed emperor under the regency of Ernst Johann von Biron, Duke of Courland, but the duke was deposed by his arch-rival Burkhard Christoph von Munich because of power politics and mismanagement, and although he was first sentenced to death, Courland was eventually exiled to Siberia. Ivan's mother, Anna Leopoldovna, was now appointed regent. Incapable to run the country, though, Anna handed over all power to von Munich. As Ivan VI was elected by Anna of Austria instead of Elisabeth Petrovna, although she was the daughter of Peter the Great and Catherine I, Elisabeth Petrovna felt that she should have ascended the throne. The baby boy Ivan was in perfect health and was now considered to be an obstacle for Elisabeth. With the help of her supporters, Elisabeth arrested Ivan and his closest relatives. At first, Elisabeth intended to expel the Brunswick family from Russia, but she changed her mind, fearing that they would become dangerous abroad, and ordered the former regent and her husband to be imprisoned. On 1742, the family was secretly transferred to Riga. In 1744, the whole family was moved to Oranienburg and then away from the border to the north of the country to Kolmogori, where little Ivan was removed from his parents. The boy, who was now called Grigori on the orders of Elisabeth, was confined to a room which only servants could enter. The voyage to Kolmorogi and the separation of her son took a heavy toll on Anna Leopoldovna's health, and she died in 1746. Meanwhile, Elisabeth ordered all remembrances to Ivan's brief reign to be removed. All coins with his name had to be surrendered for remelting. Anyone who kept Ivan's coins or tried to use them as payment were subjected to torture and exile. At present, coins from Ivan's reign have become extremely rare. An order was given to destroy portraits with the boy's image, as well as to replace business papers, passports, church books, and other documents containing Ivan's name with new ones. Some of the old documents were burned, while others were kept sealed in archives. Propaganda materials, such as published sermons mentioning Ivan's name, were also confiscated. This process continued throughout the reign of Elisabeth Petrovna and was only halted after Catherine the Great became Empress of Russia. Even more than a century and a half later, during the celebrations of the Romanov tercentenary, the infant emperor was overlooked. Despite her efforts to erase Ivan from the memory of the Russian people, Elisabeth remained fearful, and thus Ivan was transferred from Kolmorogi to solitary confinement in the Shlisselburg fortress in 1756. In the fortress, Ivan, who was officially called unknown prisoner and sometimes nameless prisoner, was kept in complete isolation. He was not allowed to see anyone, not even the servants. There is a historical myth that Ivan's isolation was so dense that he never saw a single human face during his imprisonment. However, modern historians claim that this is not supported by documents. While Ivan was imprisoned, many attempts were made to free the deposed emperor and restore him to the throne. The last attempt ended in death for Ivan. In 1764, which was already during the reign of Catherine the Great, Lieutenant Mirovich, who was performing guard duty in Shlisselburg fortress, tried to persuade some of the garrison to help him to free Ivan. However, the guards, Captain Vlasiev and Lieutenant Chekin, were given secret instructions to kill the prisoner if anyone ever attempted to free him, and thus they stabbed Ivan to death. Mirovich was arrested and beheaded in Saint Petersburg for treason. The burial place of Ivan VI is unknown, but historians agree he has most likely been buried in Shlisselburg fortress. Thank you for watching.